of course, there's negative effects of being institutionalized. And I think part of that is, I can be maybe a little bit more, I wouldn't say aggressive, but maybe more assertive than most. And I'm a humble guy, man. I'm not a douchebag. I'm not rude. I'm not disrespectful. But as I always share with people coming home from prison, and especially when you do the majority of your life incarcerated, the ultimate living standard of prison is respect. So therefore, any disrespect is untolerated, and there's consequences behind it. Physical violence, whether it be fighting or somebody getting stabbed or even death. So you have to, demand respect. You definitely have to give respect, but you also got to expect respect. Because if you allow people to disrespect you in prison, people will take advantage of that, and people will see that, and people will, prey upon you. You'll be viewed as weak, as pussy, and people will try you. So even while I was incarcerated, I wasn't no savage. I wasn't no gangster, man. The Lord completely transformed my life while I was incarcerated, but I'm still from the streets. I still, grew up fighting, and I used to love to fight, so I know how to handle my own. But even in a Christ-like honoring manner, I had to learn how to navigate throughout my incarceration while in prison, how to be assertive. You know what I mean? Not to where I'm like aggressive, but like to where you can't let no one disrespect you. And you have to have like firm, boundaries and standards to where if anybody crosses that line, you got to like check them. You know what I mean? And not allow that. So I always communicate that as well about like being institutionalized. People in society don't move like that. That's not the norm, living in a hostile environment to where the repercussions of disrespect is violence or people getting checked or people being confrontational. So I think that's a negative side effect for me being institutionalized to where whenever I feel disrespected or if I feel as if people are like treading the line of the boundaries that I have made up for myself, I have to address that and I have to confront it. And I'm not like crazy about it. But maybe just for people out here in society, that can be perceived as like confrontational or, EI's a hothead or, that's unhealthy. And I've realized it's unhealthy. And that's an area of my life that I've realized because of me being institutionalized that I have to grow out of that. I have to learn to be more humble, overlook, offense, and maybe not be so like direct and confrontational when I do address it and being more gentle. I can still communicate how I feel and maybe still have those boundaries of respect, but just the way that I communicate it, I should be more civilized. And that can be a negative effect of being institutionalized. Um, but I think also like good effects of being institutionalized is the fact that, I'm very structured with my schedule. I think just because people think about people doing time, people think about people going